I'm noticing in the comment sections a lot this week, people blaming other resellers, other new resellers, and other eBay YouTubers for ruining the business. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a great week. I know I did. I'm super excited to talk about a lot of stuff that's happened this week, not only for the eBay business, but other things going on. Had a great week in sales, though, in eBay, so let's just jump right into it and get into the numbers. This week, we had a 667 gross sales week, which was a net sales of $356. This equated out to a $25.65 average gross sale, which was a net per sale of $13.70, and a net profit margin of 53%. Average net profit margin per sale was 50% even. Top 10 sources by net return. Donated items are the highest this week. Sunglasses holding strong at number 2. St. Vincent's bin store, and we will talk about that in the top 10. My first experience with a bin store, then a culmination of St. Vincent's and Goodwills throughout the Upper Peninsula and Wisconsin area. Listings by source this week, obviously 50-50 on eBay sunglasses and eBay remotes, and then a mixture of things I've picked up all along the trail. Average listing by price this week, dominated by the under $20, which is expected with sunglasses and remotes. But we did get some big ticket items listed, and we had one listed between $50 and $100. This in the business is what we call foreshadowing. You will hear about that item coming up. All right, this week spent on new inventory listed this week was $15.50. The cost of goods of the items that actually sold was $54.57. I paid eBay $98.38 in market fees, and I paid shipping companies $158 to get products where they needed to go this week. I met my goal of at least hitting 12 listings a day for a total of 83 new listings, which equates to 26 sales, which is the second highest number of sales we've had in a week, which makes me super happy. I love a busy week, keeping my time occupied. I didn't get skunked on any day. Thursday was my busiest day, which totally forgot to mention. Thursday was a $244.32 sales day, which was a net return of $139.66. I woke up Thursday morning to $98 in sales, and I knew it was going to be a good day, and I don't know what happened, but everything was flying that day. Average time to list an item in my store this week was 1 month. The average time to sell an item this week was 2 months. Return on investment was 473%. Average return on investment by sale was 774%. Jumping into the top 10, number 10 is this Dunbrook Dallas Cowboys quarter zip pullover. I picked this pullover up at a Goodwill in Green Bay for $4.09. It sold on eBay for $27.45. That was $15 for the pullover and $12.45 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $7.34, which afforded me a net return of $11.95, which was a 292% return on investment and a 44% net profit margin. Number 9 sale of the week is this new with tags, Panama Jack sunglasses. Always happy when sunglasses make it to the top 10 because I love selling sunglasses. They're doing great for me. As you know, I picked these sunglasses up on eBay for $1.12. They sold on eBay for $21.43. That was $15.98 for the sunglasses, $5.45 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship these sunglasses was $4.19. Provided me a net return of $12.92, which was a 1,154% return on investment and a 60% profit margin. Number 8 sale of the week is this Callaway polo shirt men's XL. I picked this up from St. Vincent's in Green Bay for $3.80. It sold on eBay this week for $26.63. That's $19.98 for the shirt and $6.65 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $5 even, which afforded me a net return of $13.98. a return on investment of 360%, and a 52% net profit margin. Number 7 sale of the week is this new with tags Lee Riders women's shorts, size 16. So these shorts were donated to me by my mother. My mother, who I'm super proud of, has been hardcore dieting and losing weight over the last 6-7 months, and she is looking great. She's down, she's meeting all of her goals. I'm really happy for her, and as an eBay reseller, I get to reap the whirlwind of this event for her. So as she's getting rid of her old clothes, she's donating it to me to sell, which is fantastic. I love my mom. I'm super thankful for her. And she also helps me in the business. She is definitely my seamstress, my fabric, she helps me like figure out whenever I have an item that has stains on it or anything, like, what do I do? How do we get this out? And she's a huge support. She's a huge part of my business. And I just want to say, thank you, Mom. I love you and I appreciate everything you do. So she donated these shorts to me. So the purchase price is $0. They sold on eBay for $22.43, which was $13.98 for the shorts and $8.45 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $5.07, which provided me a net return of $13.99, which is an infinite return on investment, a net profit margin of 62%. Number 6 sale of the week are these Levi 560s men's big and tall jeans. I picked these jeans up at a St. Vincent's here in the Upper Peninsula, and they were heavily used. They had stains on the front, but they were in great condition. They were strong. I made sure when I listed it, I took good pictures of all the stains on them, and I made sure that the description and the item description clearly laid out all the stains that were on this, but they were still in good condition. And the size on them, I knew they would sell due to how big they were. And they sold on eBay for $32.63. That was $21.23 for the jeans and $11.40 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $6.76, which provided me a net return of $17.96, which was a 585% return on investment and a 55% net profit margin. Number 5 sale of the week is this Toshiba HD D3 DVD player. Picked this DVD player up at a Goodwill for $4.09. It sold on eBay for $39.98, which was $19.98 for the DVD player, and $20 flat shipping rate for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $12.42, which provided me a net return of $19.32, which was a 472% return on investment and a 48% net profit margin. And the number 4 sale of the week is this Sony cassette deck and CD player. I picked these items up at a garage sale early on in my reselling career for $4.50. At the time when I picked these up, I knew they were Sony, they were vintage, they were going to be a great item if they worked. Now, these units are part of a multi-unit system, and there's one piece of this system that powers all the other systems to it, and then they all connect through a series of cords for power to all the individual ones. There's no power port on either of these. Like, they don't have their own separate plug. When you have all the units together, they have it. And the guy who sold it to me, I asked him, I'm like, how do I know if they work or not? And he's like, the unit that powered everything went bad, and he's like, I got rid of it. I junked it. And he's like, these worked when that happened. And he's like, I'm just selling these to get rid of these. So we came to a price of $450 for them. And he told me, he's like, yeah, they worked. They're fine. But I had no way of testing it. So I've had these listed since I started reselling, clearly. And I literally just untested, as is. I had the price set super high. Always a lot of watchers on this. I realized my price was too high because it was an untested item, so I brought the price down in the past. I always had like $10-15 lowball offers on it, and I was like, no, I can't let it go for that. Like, I didn't want to let it go for that. I had like this point of pride, like, I got to get the maximum amount of money out of these I could. And after they sat for 4 months, I started changing my tune. I reduced the price even further, and I had a gentleman hit me up, and I redid the whole listing at one point. This is one of those items that I ended, relisted, and then I went through it with reality that, hey, I can't prove this works. Anybody who wants to buy this from me, you know, they're taking a gamble on it. So I heavily reduced the price. And then I had a gentleman reach out to me and he said, hey, he's like, I can deal. He's like, I can pretty much fix a CD player if the CD portion's broken. Cassette deck, I'm not. Or the opposite. He's like, I'd be willing to take a risk at $25 and pay the $25 shipping. And I said, okay. And I had this on USPS ground because USPS ground was cheaper for the customer for shipping. So that's why I selected it. And then when I relisted it, I just did it as a $25 flat rate shipping, just to keep it open for anybody who's either close to me or far away, because it was like, that's where the USPS price was. And after he reached out to me and he sent me the message saying like, I'll do the 25 plus 25. I now knew where he lived, because whenever you get indulgent messages, you get the zip code, and I ran what the shipping was going to cost. And with USPS, it would have been right at 25, like 24.35 or something to that effect. And FedEx with my discount would have made it 16. And I just asked him, I said, hey, I'll do the 25 plus the 25 shipping if you're okay with me sending it FedEx. He said, absolutely no issues. So we went ahead and made the deal, sold it on eBay for $50, $25 for the units, and $25 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $16, which provided me a net return of $24.23, which was a 538% return on investment and a net profit margin of 48%. This just goes to show you, sometimes you've got to put your pride aside, and it doesn't matter what you think you should get for it. It's what's the market going to buy it for. And make sure you do it where you can still get a profit. I mean, and work deals. Like, working deals is one of the best parts of eBay, to where everybody gets happy and everybody wins. Number 3, sale of the week, is these Fergalicious by Fergie Laundry braided back zip up boots, women's size 8.5 medium. These boots were donated to me by the same woman who gave me that huge lot. She just gave me these a little bit later on. She actually gave them to my mom to give to me, so I picked them up from my mom. So the cost of goods on this is $0, and they sold on eBay for $43.55. That was $29.95 for the boots and $13.60 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $10.34, which provided me a net return of $27.13, which is a 62% net profit margin. The number 2 sale of the week is this Magnavox 4-head VCR. So I have never been to a bin store in my life up until last month, and when I did the Green Bay trip. And when I did the Green Bay trip, I was by myself, so I had my own pace, and my goal was to hit every single thrift store in the greater Green Bay area, which I pulled off, which ended up being 6 thrift stores, St. Vincent's, Goodwill's, and I believe a mom and pop. And then they also have a St. Vincent's bin store in Green Bay. So I got to go to a bin store for my first bin store experience. And it is something. If you've never been to a bin store, it is literally everything that they can't sell at the surrounding St. Vincent's, or just stuff that hasn't sold. They bring it to the central location. Big boxes. I'm sure a lot of you know what bin stores are, and I'm preaching to the choir, but then it's just scattered out, and you pay by the pound. And they have a list on the wall of, like, clothes are, if I remember correctly, 69 cents a pound. Electronics are 89 cents a pound. But that's how it lists out. And you could just do a cart full, and it's really cool. At the register, they just have this big giant scale you roll your cart up on. They tear off the weight of the cart, and that's how you pay. I thought it was really interesting. My first time there, I was very skittish. I don't know why. I was just like, I don't quite understand this, trying to figure it all out. And going through, I found this VCR, and I picked it up, and I flipped it open, and there was a tape stuck in it. And immediately I'm like, okay, obviously this doesn't work. Somebody got a tape stuck in it, and then they just donated it. But I'm getting good at soldering. I'm getting good at working on electronics and figuring stuff out. So I decided, yep, I'm going to grab this. And I also picked up an old vintage twister mat, like just the mat. There was a lot of stuff there. It's just I was so overwhelmed with my first bin store experience that I really didn't dig into it. Next time I go, I will definitely be spending a lot more time there. I might even make that my first stop, just so I can tackle that area and go through and see what I can find. I think I also got a pair of Ralph Lauren shorts there as well. So when I brought it up, and you have to weigh it out for the different items when you have a small batch, it's like you put your electronics up, and this VCR weighed out, and it was I want to say $2.75 on weight. And the lady was like, "Wow, I can't believe that there's a VCR here." And I mean, generally it was clean. The VCR was clean; it wasn't dirty or anything. And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, and I told her, I said, "I'm a reseller," and I was like, I like selling in the vintage electronics category. And I said, I see it's got a tape stuck in it, so I know it's broken. So I'm just this is gonna be a pet project for me to see if I can get it fixed up and working. And she goes, "Oh, you know it's broken?" I go, "Yeah, there's a tape stuck in it." And she takes it and plugs it right in at the register. She tries to eject it. It's stuck. I knew that it was going to be broken, but it powered on, which made me really happy before I even paid money for it, because that's half the battle. If it powers on, it's fixable. You can restore it. So she's like, "Well, if it's broken, I don't feel right selling it to you for $2.78. So she marked it down to a dollar, which I was really appreciative at the register. And the purchase price on this is listed as $3.80 because I do an average of everything spent throughout the day. So the purchase price on this is listed as $3.88 because that's how it fits into the average of everything else I picked up for the day. And when I got it home, it was just the VCR. That's all it was. And I got it home, popped it open, and I noticed that so a mechanism on a VCR, most VCRs, you push it in and then a motor takes over and pushes it down, and then there's a lock key that goes in to lock it in place while the video is playing. And I noticed the lock key on the inside was bent and it was hooking it in place. So when I put it in and I hit the eject button, you could hear the motor trying to engage, and you could see the locking mechanism try to open up, but it was just bent enough to where it wouldn't give. It wouldn't give and break free. So I unplug it. I literally take a pair of pliers and I go in and I grab the tab and I just give it a slight twinge just to straighten it out. Because I mean, it was literally just barely hooking. And I literally went like that, plugged it back in, hit eject, tape came right out. Put the tape in, crystal clear image on the screen. So I was really excited that it was an easy fix. And I didn't even look it up at this point. Like, this was one I bought on this was an item I just bought on instinct. I know, like, okay, either I can fix it and make a lot of money, or I can't fix it and I'll sell it for parts. And, you know, I knew I would get my money back on this and make a little bit of a profit. So, as you guys know, I have also got into the remote control business recently. And this whole last week, all I've been doing is testing and cleaning remotes. That's literally my life. And I love it. I literally love sitting down and 20 remotes at a time, just scrubbing them, cleaning them, getting them cleaned up, testing them, making sure they work. But in the process, I found this a Magnavox remote that was the remote for this VCR, but it was the silver remote. So I have the black VCR, but I have the silver remote for the same model of VCR. What does it matter? It works. So, and I also got a 50-cent cord that I threw into the bundle. Tested it out, did a short video showing that the VCR player worked, showing that the remote worked, and this sold relatively quickly. It sold in 8 days on eBay for $65 even, which was $50 for the VCR and $15 for the shipping. The actual cost to ship this item was $11.02, which provided me a net return of $41.93, which was a 1,103% return on investment and a 65% net profit margin. And the whole reason I told you that whole story is because if you do find something that is worth money and it is still in a broken state, this is an opportunity for you to hone in on skills and learn new skills. You're not going to be able to fix every item you come across, but you're going to learn something each time you come across an item. And hopefully you get the item for a cheap enough price that if you can't fix it, you can still sell it for parts and make your money back plus a small profit. In this case, it was a big win, and we made a lot of money off the purchase. and everything went right on this one, and I was really happy about it. The number one sale of the week is this Initech basic pet fencing in-ground system. This item was part of that donated lot from the end of July. It's the complete set, but it was not in its box. It actually, when it was given to me, was in this box, which I'm now using for batteries. But it didn't have its original box, but it had all the pieces of the system inside of it. Brand new. What is sealed is sealed. The flags are still wrapped, everything. So this has been sitting in my death pile for over a month. And this was one of those things, like, I didn't even look up. I'm like, man, I don't think anybody's going to buy this. And we're going to talk about what motivated me to actually list this recently, because it plays into one of the big thoughts I have on the week, but we'll get to that after the top 10. So anyway, this cost me $0, and I finally got around to listing it this week on eBay, and it sold in 17 hours for $70 even, $55 for the fence, and $15 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $9.95, which provided me a net return of $50.42, which is an infinite return on investment and a 72% net profit margin. And that concludes our top 10. And the first thing I want to jump into this week is this YouTube channel has hit 1,800 subscribers. 1,800 of you have subscribed to this channel and join me every week. I cannot say thank you enough and how blown away I am. We are on the trail to 2,000 subscribers. I have everything for the 2,000 subscriber episode. I don't want to give away what the hitch is, but no matter what you are in my audience, if you are new to reselling, thinking about getting into reselling, or have been reselling for a long time, you're a veteran seller, the 2,000 episode should pique interest for everybody involved. And even if you're just a casual watcher who just has no desire or anything to do with eBay reselling, but you enjoy watching the content, even you, there's something in it for you. What I will say is, for those who don't know, if you follow me in my monthly YouTube monetization process, I have made $104 for my first paycheck. So the way it works is I make about 0.007 cents per view. And at the end of the month, they tell you how much you make for the month. If it's not over $100, they don't pay you. Once you hit $100 or more, they pay you. It took me 2 months to get to the first $100. And what I can tell you about the 2,000 subscriber episode is I have spent my first entire YouTube paycheck on the production of it, and I'm really excited for when it does happen. So share this content around with anybody you think might be interested. That'd be super appreciated. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. It truly helps. If you like the content, hit the like button. That'd be great. So with that said, with how thankful I am for all 1,800 of you who have pressed that subscribe button, let's talk about eBay resellers real quick. Because as you guys know, I watch every single eBay reseller on YouTube. It is, quite honestly, the reason I chose to do this when I lost my job. Prior to this, I didn't know anything about reselling on eBay. I wasn't really even an eBay shopper. And I went down the rabbit hole after I lost my job, trying to figure out what the next move in my life was. And I knew I was going to go back to college, so I'd have the GI Bill coming in. I knew I had my pension from the military to cover bills. So this was the point of my life where I needed to make a big change and a big decision. And I knew that I never wanted to punch a time clock and work for somebody else and help somebody else get rich and be an hourly or salaried employee. I knew this was the time where I had to branch off, and I always wanted to be my own boss. I always wanted to own my own business. I just never knew what the business was. There were times in the past where I've almost purchased bars. I've almost purchased bowling alleys. I've other businesses that I've gotten involved in, like thought and considered to getting involved in, and stuff just never panned out. And so I knew this was the time where I had to figure out what I wanted to do for me. And eBay reselling, once I went down the YouTube rabbit hole, was where it stuck. And if it wasn't for eBay resellers on YouTube, I would have never taken the leap into this. Specifically, the two that jump out the most, obviously, Justin Resells is a huge inspiration to me. I love his content, and J Ride Flips. I love his business mindset. With that said, I still watch everybody. I watch Carry at Home. I watch Tech and Sports. I watch Trailer Trash Flipper, 9teens or 9TNS. I watch Lone Star Mulligans, Coins Making Sense. Big, small, everything in between. I don't care if you have 10 subscribers or if you have 10 million subscribers. If you're in this space, you have knowledge that you can impart on me. And I will always absorb the knowledge and take the good, leave the bad for my business. And I'm not saying bad like anybody teaches anything that's bad. They just teach things that aren't right for everyone's business, but's right for their business. And this week, so I really respect and I appreciate everybody who does eBay, YouTube reselling. Also, Commonwealth Picker. Commonwealth Picker is a huge inspiration too. I don't want to not name him. And also everybody else at the Trash to Cash podcast. It's one of my most favorite podcasts to listen to now. But I have found success directly from things eBay YouTubers have put out, content they put out. Like, everybody has provided me with something. And it, like I said, doesn't matter how big or small they are. Like thrifting videos from 9TNS. Like, I would never look at breakables or anything like that, but seeing her thrifting them, I'm now more comfortable picking up different breakables. Lone Star Mulligans. Man, his channel has taught me everything I know about golf clubs. Still haven't picked one up or sold a golf club, but I have a lot more confidence now when I go into a thrift store. Justin Resells. And here's the prime example of the #1 sale of the week. That dog fence was sitting in my death pile for the last month. I had no desire to list it. I was like, man, this is probably not going to sell. And then his video from this week, he sold a dog collar for quite a bit of profit. And it was directly because of that video that I said, geez, you've got that dog fence. Is it really worth something? And then that was the point where I looked up a donated item and found out, oh, you idiot, get this thing listed. So, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm noticing in the comment sections a lot this week, people blaming other resellers, other new resellers, and other eBay YouTubers for ruining the business. And I want to make it abundantly clear. I have an abundance mentality. I think there's room for everybody. One of my favorite parts about this YouTube channel that I didn't expect or ever see coming was building relationships with you guys in the comments. For those of you who are new to eBay reselling or just getting into it like me, either started right before me, at the same time as me, or shortly after me, and those who are considering getting into eBay reselling. And the support structure that this little community of ours has built. And I hear these other people complain that their business is ruined because of the other resellers and these eBay YouTubers. Like, oh, you can't make money on eBay, so you got to come in for the YouTube bucks. Well, for those of you who follow this channel, you guys see all my numbers. You guys see all the money I make. There is literally nothing hidden from you guys. And without a doubt, I make an abundantly higher amount of money off eBay than I do YouTube. Let's say I did make more money on YouTube than I did eBay. I still don't understand the logic of these people who think that you're not a real eBay reseller if you're a YouTuber because you're making all your money on YouTube. First off, if you are making more money on YouTube than you are eBay reselling, I am so happy for you. I hope everybody that's doing eBay reselling is making thousands of dollars a month because the knowledge they're passing on to people is invaluable and they deserve to be compensated for their time. And I think it's awesome. But with that said, any eBay YouTuber, if they don't have an eBay business that is profitable, they don't have content because you are not a good eBay reseller. You are not a good eBay YouTuber if you are not good at eBay selling. You need to be good at the selling part to have content for the YouTube part. So I don't understand this logic because even if you are making more money, you still have to be successful at the eBay portion to even be somewhat successful at the YouTube eBay selling portion. And I think it's funny. So I get very defensive of other YouTubers, like in their comment sections, when I see those negative comments. And this is a point where I need to thank you guys, my comment section. You guys are so positive and so uplifting, and the majority of this community everywhere is. But there are those few negatives, and I noticed that a lot of big YouTubers are addressing this, and I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in on it. That, man, we're all trying to just get by and make a living, and in a world right now that is already tough enough as it is economically, the only way we're going to change the negativity in the world is through positivity. And like I said, I'm not an expert in anything. I hope that you come here and you learn something and you're entertained. I hope that I provide you with some value to your life. And I want to say that I think every eBay YouTuber has provided me value. And I think that there's people who are currently getting into eBay reselling who will eventually start a YouTube channel. And if that's you out there, do it. Make that move too. It's tough. It's going to be rough at the start. It's weird talking to a camera by yourself in your garage, but you eventually get used to it and you realize that you have a lot to offer this community. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who remains positive and supports each other. And I love seeing that, people supporting other people. Again, I also see it like in the Flipwise Discord, just absolute awesome positivity throughout. And that's, I like that this is a majority community of positivity with very little negativity. But yeah, without eBay YouTubers, this business, I don't think my business would be successful, and I don't think I'd have so many the things I have in place. I mean, if it wasn't for Justin Resells, I wouldn't have Flipwise, and Flipwise is fantastic. Like everything you see here, my flat board for clothes is inspired by this eBay YouTuber. My photo station for hard goods is inspired by this YouTuber. My storage is an amalgamation of difference. Like for clothes, I follow the Carrie at Home, her and her husband. I follow their inventory system for clothes. For hard goods, I take huge inspiration from J-Ride, to the point where when I got into selling sunglasses and remotes, one thing about watching his videos, I'm like, what are those white boxes he keeps them in? I want to get boxes like that because it lines everything up and keeps everything neat. They're card boxes. They're trading card collectible boxes. They're sectioned off. I bought a whole bunch of them, and it's really awesome for the inventory. It keeps everything nice and neat. So the point is, of this whole diatribe I've been going on, be a positive force in this world. And don't look at others with jealousy. Use it as inspiration for where you want to go. Because if you're in the position as a senior eBay reseller and you are saying that your business is failing because of new upstart resellers and eBay YouTubers saturating the market and getting more people into it, which lessens your inventory and lessens your ability to sell, and then there's the whole race to the bottom. I say this to not sound dismissive or mean, but if you're blaming others for the failure of your business, you're not going to be in business long. You have to adapt, you have to overcome, and you have to figure out how to make it work. I'm not perfect in this. There are things I do where I make mistakes. Last week I had 10 sales for the whole entire week, which I still made more than enough money I needed to survive, but the internal, I struggled. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I didn't say, man, I wish tech and sports would stop giving advice to newbies to get them into the business and it's hurting my ability to make sales. I didn't do that. What I did was I said, what am I doing wrong? And last week I made a lot of changes late Saturday night, reorganizing things, going through, repricing things, and it resulted in my second highest number sales volume since I've been doing this, and my second highest money making week of the week, because I saw my mistakes I was making and I corrected them. And correcting them meant I altered hundreds of listings. I went through and I corrected a lot of things. I didn't get everything done I wanted to. It meant I put things on sale. It meant things I swallowed my pride to not maximize every cent I could get out of it, but to make a steady profit and turn it around to better my business. And that's another thing. You have to reinvest in your business. Don't think that all this money that you make is yours to spend. Make sure, A, you're putting it aside for taxes, and make sure you're reinvesting in your business, because that's how you're going to grow. And you're going to grow by buying good inventory, listing it at a fair market price, and providing quality customer service. And yeah, that ends my soapbox diatribe. This is gonna be fun to edit because I feel like I spaced off in a whole bunch of directions. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me and listening to me rant on this Sunday morning. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the camera and start editing so I can get this out to you guys today. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comment section below. I try to answer every single comment and read every single comment, and you guys are great. I truly do love you guys. I hope you guys had a great week. I hope you guys have a great week to come, and we'll see you next Sunday.